Welcome everyone, I'm Jordan Sharp. We are finishing up the NFC West Divisional Future Odds update right now, taking a look at the St. Louis Rams, a team that had a pretty solid season last year, and if it wasn't for their quarterback getting hurt before the halfway point, they might have actually pushed a couple of these other teams in this very stacked NFC West division. But the Rams this season from Bovada Sportsbook come in at plus 5,000 or 50 to 1 to win the Super Bowl this season under head coach Jeff Fisher. And even though this is one of the younger teams in the entire NFL, the St. Louis Rams are going to hold some value this season somewhere along the line. Now, it may not be in the future odds. That much is probably pretty certain. However, against the spread, this team could surprise a lot of people with that defense. And even though they lost Cortland Finnegan in that secondary, they still have a very good young secondary, and their front seven is obviously going to win them some games. Of course, the Rams top 5 last year in sacks, going to create some turnovers as well off of those getting after the quarterback, and that's going to be huge for this offense. Still a very young offense, but if Sam Bradford can stay healthy, this team has a lot of upside, and their NFC price reflects that at plus 2,500. Sportsbooks aren't necessarily taking the Rams as lightly this season as they did a year ago, and even though they may still be just slightly undervalued, like I mentioned, if Bradford can stay healthy for this entire season, he was on pace for a very, very solid year last year. If he would have stayed healthy, he might have gotten close to 4,000 yards passing. He was on pace for 32 touchdowns before he got hurt, which would have placed him tied for fourth in the NFL last season. So if Bradford can stay healthy, this team with Chris Givens, Tavon Austin, a young, very deep running game, don't underestimate them even though they do play in the NFC West. It's tough to play the Seahawks, 49ers, and Cardinals 6 times a year, don't get me wrong, but even though last year the Rams were not that great against their division, the one lone win they did have against their division was with Bradford starting, who was 1-1 in those games. Of course, their backup lost all of those divisional games. Before that, for 2013 and 2012, they were, of course, 6-0 against the spread versus the NFC West. And their NFC West price this season from Bovada comes in at 7-1 to win the division. Not going to really get too excited about that number, obviously, with the other 3 teams that are in that division, but we could see a reverse back to 2012 where the Rams were at extremely good value against the spread in their division. They went 4-1-1 straight up against their division in 2012. Of course, like I mentioned, undefeated against the spread, and I would not be surprised if they have the upside to do something like that once again and be very good either at home or against their division. In that dome, they're very hard to play against when visiting teams come in, so don't underestimate the Rams this season. They may be young, they may not have a chance in these future odds, but their ATS value could potentially be off the map once again. But that'll do it for me this time. Make sure you check out my other NFC West updates as well as every other team future odds update here in the NFL. But until then, I'm Jordan Sharp, and this has been another edition of the Sharp Pick.